Hey guys, don't forget, Ice-T and the Hippogriff episodes can be listened to on the go using the Anchor app or Anchor website on any mobile device or computer. Just type Ice-T and the Hippogriff in the search bar. You can also get notifications to catch Ice-T and the Hippogriff recordings live on twitch.tv by following our Twitch channel. Find it at twitch.tv/IceTKirby. Enjoy the show.
People like to get worked up about things, and that's just not our style. So, to save you guys a call to the authorities, take a listen to this. The opinions and ideas you hear are those of the hosts, their guests, and their callers, and not those of the companies, sponsors, or advertisers for this podcast. And with that said, enjoy the show.
All right, it's that time again. We are back for another iteration of Ice-T and the Hippogriff. My name is Jesse Harriton, also known as Ice-T Kirby on my social media platforms, and I am joined by amazing and awesome co-host, Miss Victoria Sorrentino. How are you doing, Victoria?
I'm doing fan-freaking-tastic, Jesse. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Today is a lovely May 7th, and it is about 7:03 p.m. here in 2020. Let's get to things. Before we do that, though, of course, I have some housekeeping stuff, as usual, that I would like to share with everybody because it is exciting and important, and that is this. You can catch us every Thursday night at around 7 p.m. And I say around because we're not perfect and we are kind of, on like a pandemic schedule, if you will. But you can catch us every Thursday night around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on twitch.tv/IceTKirby. That is the Twitch channel that we are using until further notice. And you can also catch the episodes that you might have missed every Tuesday. The following Tuesday is when our episodes get released. They are fully edited on anchor.fm/Ice-T and the Hippogriff, which is our main podcast site. And thanks to them, they will spread our podcast over to other podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and many, many more. Now, this is the thing I've been waiting for. A new way,
Dun, dun, dun.
yes, a new way to participate with the show. And I would like people to try this. If you can try this today, that would be awesome. And for some of it, yes, obviously it's only going to happen during the live show on Thursdays at 7 p.m. because it is kind of a live interaction kind of thing. You can't listen to this after the fact and then do what I'm about to tell you. But we have a voicemail system, a texting system, and a call-in system in place starting now. You can reach the show by calling or texting this number. This is done through Google Voice. So yes, it's not my number. It's not my phone number. It is a number that Google Voice has given to us. And that number is this. You can contact us at 802-432-8358. And you can have a chance to be featured on the show. And I'll repeat that number again. It is 802-432-8358. And I will get a command going in the chat. That way, if you're on Twitch and you would like the number and you don't know what the number is, I'm going to put a command for next time anyway, where you can have the Twitch bot give you the number on command. Another thing, keep in mind, if you do wish to call us or text us or leave a voicemail, right now I believe I have it set to voicemails. And whenever we do want to open up for calls, I can open it up for calls. But right now we are on Do Not Disturb mode, which means when you call in, you can leave a voicemail, and we can listen to it on the air. So we'll take a moment, probably towards the end of the show, I think, or maybe before breaks, where we'll take some calls and we'll go through text messages and read off what the text messages are saying, just like kind of what we do in the Twitch chat here on Ice-T and the Hippogriff. And then, of course, I think towards the end of the show, that's when we can take live calls, and you can say what you want about the show. You can share your opinions and thoughts with us, and you can actually talk to us live. There, I said it. That's the exciting news. That was
He's been waiting all day to say this.
I've been waiting like 7 to 8 hours to say that, because I found out I found out about it. Like, I was like, because I was like, that's something I've been working on, and it's very, I type in voicemail on Google for, like, personal voicemail systems, and they give you like these, like, subscription based, like, oh, like, here's a voicemail system for $12 a month, and like it saves everything, but it's like Google Voice, which is, Google, something I use every day. You can just do it all on there. So, but anyway, just to get that out of the way, again, you can call in the show, call or text the show by dialing 802-432-8358. And just keep in mind, you will have a chance to be featured on the air. And keep in mind that call data and or message rates, may apply depending on your phone service. Last but not least, please follow, like, and share the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, and subscribe if you would like. If you are enjoying the show, please be sure to do that. That helps us, and that will help us help you guys in the future. Victoria, how has your week been since the last episode?
Oh my gosh. My week has been really awesome. My week has been really good. I've been working out. I've been spending some time with the doggos. I've even been doing a lot of arts and crafts and just practicing my ukulele. It's not complaining about this.
No, I've always want to learn. I tried teaching myself guitar when I was working at school, because we have a guitar at school. It's not a very good guitar, but it's hard. And I think all guitar, I think Dan's in this chat right now. I think even he knows, like, the F chord, right, where you have to bar the whole neck of the guitar with your finger.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's hard. And then you get,
it's super hard.
Yeah. So and piano. Obviously, I play a little bit of piano because I have to use it for teaching. But ukulele is another instrument that I would love to learn. I feel like I have long fingers. I don't know if that's bad, but it'd be fun to learn to uke.
It's a novelty instrument. It's not something that's a super serious or super technical instrument. I think the most technical part about it is really getting a consistent.
Yeah.
You learn the pressure. You learn how to push the strings down. You learn them. What's going to work as you go. But it's the strumming pattern that I think is difficult. And,
yeah. Dan says, yeah, that's why most people quit the guitar. He says, is because of the F major chord on the guitar.
Listen, I'm learning some funky chord right now. It's like the A minor chord, the A flat chord. I'm trying to learn Boulevard of Broken Dreams. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
It's a great song.
I love it. That was like my 13-year-old anthem. I have no idea where this lonely road is, but I'm walking it with you, man.
I feel like that was like the anthem of that time.
That was everybody.
Green Day was big. But anyway, you mentioned working out a moment ago, and that today is something that we are going to talk about plenty, is health and wellness during our special friend, the pandemic of COVID-19. Before we even jump into any of the research that we've done, I do want to say I feel like I have and haven't been more healthier than ever. That's a weird thing to say. I know, like, because obviously there's a horrible disease going around, or not disease, but virus going around. But I almost feel like I haven't gotten sick in a really long time. And I'll knock on my desk, without making the microphone go anywhere. But I feel like I usually get sick a lot because I'm around the kids.
Hmm.
And they're elementary school kids, so obviously they don't wash their hands all the time. I have kindergartners and first graders who are probably germ hosts, which is great because I love them. But I would get sinus infections or colds often. And now that I've been out of the school, out of school, um, like I haven't gotten sick at all, and I love it. I love that I'm not getting sick because I hate being sick. Being sick is like one of my least favorite things ever. But I mean, it's
Sort of makes
interesting
you think
how
about it.
something like a virus is preventing me from getting sick indirectly, obviously.
Of course. Of course. I mean, it's giving you extra time to kind of like focus on yourself, your overall wellness. You're not exposing yourself to a variety of, germs and foreign substances. So your immune system really has the ability to, stay strong and keep pushing through, and your body just has the room to just maintain a normal pattern. Doesn't have to think about, oh, I gotta up the blocks for this. I need to promote that so we can regenerate energy here. It's a double-headed sword, feeling as healthy as you feel while on quarantine. It's
Oh
ironic.
yeah, no, yeah. I just the paradox in it is just fascinating. But anyway, what do you got for us, Victoria? We were talking health and wellness during this thing. Um, what do you have for us in terms of being well per
Mm.
se?
Um, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into making you a well person, but the biggest part is you. What are you doing about it, and what you're going to continue doing about it, so that you can continue to stay healthy. We're not really working right now, so a lot of people's sleeping schedules might be, all over the place. And it's not that it's a bad thing. You should splurge and spend time on Saturday night and go to sleep at 3 a.m. if you want. But regularly, 7 to 9 hours of sleep right now, that's really healthy for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
giving your body the time to rest and recharge all of the work that it's done that day, whether you were thinking all day long or whether you were active all day. Your body needs time to relax and recharge to go to the next day. When you're waking up, before you even get out of bed, I think that you should be stretching 3 to 5 minutes, before your feet even touch the ground. Because, as soon as your feet touch the ground, like it's absorbing all your weight. And if you're not ready for that job, it's not going to feel good to start moving. We're not kids anymore.
Meanwhile, I get out of bed and I literally go straight to my computer and sit in my computer for about 12 hours. uh, when it comes to my weekly routine, which is horrible. And every time I get in my car to go somewhere or do something, whether it be grocery shopping once a week, and like I had to drop something off at someone's house, obviously safely. I did so safely, but I had to drop off a computer thing at someone's house. Every time I get into my car, I'm like, oh my god, it's refreshing to not be sitting in the same chair all day long. And part of it's part of my gaming. I play video games on the computer, so I want to, I sit on the computer, and then the other half is me teaching kiddos through the computer. So I'm sitting in the same chair, you know. So
I mean, we're in a peculiar situation. We are, but this is also, a time for modification. Just because you game for many hours out of the day, does not mean that you also need to continue sitting down while you're teaching. If you want to approach, Jesse, there's like a special type of desk. It's a rolly desk, and it stands up by itself with like two wheels, and you can teach from that desk. Maybe if you have a laptop that you teach from, or something to make you a little more mobile. And regardless of what you want to do, you should always be giving yourself time, in between a game or in between teaching your kids, to stand up and stretch, and especially like your legs right now that you're just sitting for the most part. It's going to, like you said, it feels so much better to be sitting in a different chair. It's going to feel a lot better to just stand up.
well, I do every now and then walk to the bathroom if that counts. I'm just kidding. No, but I know what you're saying. Actually, there are desks. Since you mentioned that, there are desks specifically for gaming and for office people, and
Mhm.
they actually have they're elevated desks. So they have like a little motor, and there's a little console on the side, and you can toggle it up and down, and the desk will actually raise up to a standing position where you can stand at the desk, or it will shrink down to a sitting desk. And I've thought about that. aside from obviously moving around and wellness, I figured
Mhm.
that'd be good for posture because right now I feel like um, sitting at my desk has caused my posture to not be as good as it usually is. Because I don't brag much, but I know my posture is good. I
Mhm.
was doing band all the time and sitting up and playing an instrument to marching band and having my shoulders back and in the right position. And even when I do sit at my desk, you'll catch me a lot of times, and people on Twitch can see me do this. You'll catch me sitting straight, like you'll see me with my back straight against the back of the chair, not like hunched over. Like I'm not hunching over, my neck's not down. Um, and I make that a habit. Like every now and then, I'll catch myself and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to sit up taller," and you'll see me like fix my position. Um, but I do feel the repercussions of sitting for such a long time, which is not something I would normally do because usually I'm working with the kids at school. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, I just wanted to. That was just something I noticed.
And I mean,
um,
it's a really good thing you actually brought up because as far as like the desk goes, if you're working on a desk that's too low for you, that's really bad for your back. You need to position yourself in a desk that when you put your arms on it and you're typing, your arms are parallel to or are equally the desk is parallel to your body, excuse me. Just kind of like your mid torso,
oh,
you
I see
know.
what you're saying. So like the surface of your desk should be almost perpendicular, like to your waist area, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
say?
I
Okay,
guess I used the wrong word. My apologies. But yeah,
and
yes.
no, you're right. Because I didn't watch. I saw an article on. Here's the nerd coming. Are you ready?
Right.
I was looking up an article on how to aim better on PC for like for shooting games, and one of the guys who's really good at shooting, he was saying your posture matters, and so if your chair, for example, is too low, and you have to have your arm go up to reach the desk or the mouse, that's not
Mhm.
good for your that's not good for like technique. Meanwhile, at the same time, and it also messes with your shoulder because your shoulder will be reaching, it'll be raised higher than its normal positioning, like your
Right.
body's normal position. Meanwhile, if the desk is too low, your shoulder it'll be hanging, but you're also reaching downwards with your elbow, which is also not good to do too long. So he suggests like to have um the desk at a height to where if you were to like stick your arms out at like parallel to the floor or parallel to the desk, your arm should be like at a comfortable and natural shoulder height, if that makes sense. Like
Correct.
yeah, I don't know. That was just something. But I mean, relating that to like the whole COVID, being inside all the time, it's like I can see where that actually can help over a long period of time, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
yeah. So that was
100%. Your
my nerd
body,
moment.
I just my nerd moment in life is like always trying to tie these things into other aspects of life. Your body is like a car. When you're born, you're brand new. There's nothing wrong with you. You're in tip top shape. And, as you drive the car and wear and tear happens to the car, things change and things are going to happen. Exactly. So, as a human being, it's the same thing. Like there is wear and tear. Too much time sitting down is not good for you. Too much time in a position that's not natural or neutral, it's going to come for you. It may not come for you right now in our 20s, but we'll be 45 taking a chicken out of the oven and that really exhausted shoulder from gaming
uh,
too much is going to come for you. And I think it's really important that, especially right now, that we all have the time to focus on our wellness and our overall being. We take the time to really start instilling these things in ourselves so that when we do resume normal life, we go back into it with probably a lot better um, perspective, a lot better feeling than
right,
what we're
right, right.
feeling right now.
Um. So okay. So if we're talking health, we're talking wellness. During this thing, right? I
Mhm.
found I'll share with you guys one of the articles that I found on this as I was doing my research. And it is actually an article out of Michigan University, the M. They have a wellness and prevention article, and it's 4 strategies for staying healthy in a quarantined world. Um, and excuse me, and they said this. There's 4 steps or 4 things that they suggest. Um, But this is what they say. They say every day we're waking up to a world that has become like a stranger to us. The stress of sheltering in place and the fear of the unknown has left many of us stressed, socially isolated, or just plain bored. And there's no denying it. Our lives have been turned upside down, and which is obviously true. But there, one of the, let's see here, what's his name? Sue Rice Camp, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She works as the Michigan medicine and dietitian over at Michigan University. And she offered these 4 steps. First one being establishing routines. The second one being think twice about what you're putting in your mouth, which I guess means think twice about what you're eating.
I mean, other things
Ramp,
too.
yeah, she mentions ramping up your fluid intake and moving your body. So let's start with the first one, establishing a routine, a daily routine, becoming essentially productive, right? Making sure you're doing something productive and doing something that's not doing nothing, if that makes sense. The kitchen is a great place to get oh God, I can't read. I'm so sorry. The kitchen is a great place to get your day started with a routine, says Rice Camp. Okay, so I can agree with that, right? What better motivator to get you out of bed than food? Wrong, right? Wrong, maybe?
Oh, it's
I don't know.
food. I mean, come on. Can you think of a time in college where the free food was the incentive that we didn't do it? um, the kitchen is a great place to start. You got to eat a hearty breakfast, and that's what gets your body going, with the energy that it needs for the day to focus and conquer things. But, before you start in the kitchen eating your breakfast, it's also recommended that you drink 8 ounces of water. And the purpose of that is to stimulate a faster metabolism. It's going to lubricate your joints, and it's going to also take up space in your stomach. So it's going to make you full a little faster than it would be if you ate a normal full size breakfast.
That makes sense. And I
Yes.
mean, when I wake up, the I hate the phlegmy grossness that is my throat and nasal cavity. Just
Yeah.
personally, when I wake up. So if I don't have that water bottle sitting next to me ready to go, I'm getting up to get one. Like that. That's just how I've always been.
No,
So,
I mean,
um, I do want to answer this one question that our chat has said. It says, do you guys keep yourselves on a schedule when it comes to eating and working out, etc.? Do you want to take a blow at that, Victoria?
okay, so I'll be really honest with you. I'm just now sort of putting my schedule together with that. Because just prior it was really hard. Um, so I try to work out about 3 to 5 times a week. On average, if you're doing at least 3 to 5 days a week of working out and exercising, that's when your body is like stimulated to, burn fat, mold here, and cut that there. Um, so I try to do it. I try to do it, I used to do it at nighttime, but the best time for me, at least, is during the day, 11, 12 o'clock, because I'm motivated. I got the energy to do it. As far as eating goes, well, you asked also what types of workouts. That also depends on like what I'm doing that day. For the most part, if I, for the most part, I try to do 100 push-ups every single time I work out, 100 squats, and I'll try to do something core based at the end, whether it's crunches or leg lifts, a variation of candlestick dips. I try to work out as much of my body as possible, to burn and start, creating definition in certain places. Um, the If I'm working out something specific for that day, like if it's leg day, I'm gonna try my best not to, go do 100 squats before I do my legs.
That
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah, but a lot of but that also like depends on the person. Like if I start my workout with 100 push-ups and I go do my arms, like I'm gonna be hurting, like I'm ripped when I leave the gym.
Yeah, I
But
no, keep going. I'm sorry.
wouldn't no, no, you're fine, you're fine. Like I wouldn't try to put too much, like wouldn't if I'm doing my back, I wouldn't do 100 push-ups with like a weight on my back, because at that point I might just be too exhausted to go do my back day. Um,
That yeah, I
Far
my routine. I do have. I don't want to say I don't have a routine, because I do a lot of the same things after I wake up. Do I do them in the same order? Not all the time, but there is a natural progression of how I do things. And is it by the minute? Not necessarily. So during the okay, that's a lie. During the week it is. So if it were a normal school day and I was actually going to work like at school, you would
Hmm.
catch me waking up at 5:15. You'd catch me, showering, or well, actually not even showering. I don't even shower in the mornings anymore. When I wake up that early, I shower at night. But you'll catch me like pack my lunch and get my work stuff together. I leave the house by 6:15, get to school by 7, and pretty much my routine. I don't want to say falls apart, but it gets a little bit more lax when I get to school, because when I get to school, obviously all the things I do there depends on the day and what needs to be done and what grade is doing what. So that obviously changes. But as far as like an umbrella schedule goes, kind of yeah, it's kind of the same routine, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And again, it's not down to the minute. I mean, obviously, for example, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, I had brass band and chorus at 3 o'clock to 4:45. So yeah, okay, that's obviously down to the minute. And even my lessons will be timed in certain ways because that's just how lessons are created. But in terms of like me being home and doing things, I wouldn't say I have like a strict, down to the second routine.
Hmm.
Um, but I do have things that I do on certain days. For example, every Tuesday and Sunday, I try to work out. Like, that's a part of my routine, if that makes sense. So, like Sunday, for example, when I don't have work, that's a day where I don't necessarily set an alarm for like I'm not waking up at 7 a.m. I'll probably have my alarm at 10 or 11, and then
Hmm.
that's more of a day where I kind of play it by ear. But then I will say to myself like, yeah, today I do have to do a workout at least that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't have like a schedule where I can look at a schedule, or I said schedule twice. Oh my god, I don't have like a routine where I can look at a schedule and like time mark everything. But I do have a progression of things that I like to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's a really that's a really nice answer that you gave, because I do want to build on that. In 2008, the Department of Health, for the very first time, released some findings that said, you only need 150 minutes a week of physical activity, and not even exercising. And that's something that people are confuse, mix up the two, is physical activity and exercise, which I'll explain in a moment here. But you only need 150 minutes of physical activity every single week to keep your body in what health professionals consider a healthy status.
And that's what, 2.5
You know,
hours.
it's not even 2.5 hours, Jesse. If you do the math, it's about 22.3 minutes a day you have to spend just getting your heart rate up or engaging yourself in an activity for your body to just maintain a healthy status. And like, really think about that. We're really young right now and we eat a lot of the things that we just eat whatever we want. And if you don't put those 22 minutes every single day to get yourself up and do certain things, we'll be in our late 40s, early 50s, and we can't have them anymore, because now our
Right.
body doesn't have the capability to subtract all of that stuff as
Uh,
efficiently as we
um,
were used to be able to.
one of the things that I've read here uh, from this article is, and this is interesting because she mentions a routine here that isn't necessarily a physical routine, but more of a social routine. So she says connecting with the outside world is a good routine to establish, especially for those who live alone, whether via computer or telephone. Make it a point to reach out to others each day. And I'm going to agree with that, because there's a lot of people who obviously from this whole thing have lost the physical interaction that they could be having, right?
Hmm.
People who live alone, who don't have people nearby that they can hang out with or be 6 feet away from, obviously safely, but uh, to be able to reach out to somebody and not even just text. And let me give an example. Like, I had a great friend of mine who actually moved to New Mexico. He called me this morning. I saw a post on Facebook that he made, of like something that happened to him, and I commented, and he said, "Hey man, can I call you real quick?" And I said, "Of course." And the amount of or the feeling I had when I talked to him was so refreshing to be able to interact with this guy who, I mean, I haven't seen him in a few years now because he moved away, but I mean, he's still a dear friend of mine, but it was so refreshing to reconnect with him and talk to him and talk about what's going on and how he's doing and seeing what's up, you know? And I think in terms of wellness, uh, other than physical wellness, like in a social way, it was really great to see him, or not see him, but talk to him.
Mhm. Because
So
psychologically or mentally, if you will, you're reaching into a part of your life that this person brought good things out of. You have good memories with this person had a great time with you. So yeah, it overall makes you feel better. A lot of people have actually reached out to me during quarantine and have expressed that to me, and I too have also reached out and reconnected with a few people that I have since not really spoken to prior to COVID-19. But your mental health is really important. A lot of people do feel isolated. A lot of people do feel alone, like they don't have somebody to talk to. So even just calling them on the phone and going for a walk while you talk to them, it's two birds and one stone. Not only are you taking care of your physical self, you're taking care of your mental self by reaching out to this person and engaging yourself in an activity. I think that's really important for us to kind of express and really pass along to a lot of people. Ever since this COVID-19 started really being present, I've noticed a lot of people are outside exercising. A lot of people are trying to do things to keep their mental health game up, because you are going to get in your own way of your goals, or you are going to be your best teammate to get you to your goals.
yeah,
So
I agree.
I
And that,
personally
oh, I'm sorry, go.
No, you're fine. Just I personally have found during this time for my mental health, the best thing that I can really do for myself is, I take my dogs on just an excessive amount of walks right now. And to be honest, they're still not complaining. You know, I like to walk my dogs, and I don't even bring my phone sometimes. I like to just listen to the wind, how the wind moves the trees, or how certain things are moving around me. It forces you to be present, and it forces you to appreciate, you know, just the immediate environment that you're in.
Yeah, and so
You
just to top that off, I think that kind of answers Bushimi Fan Club's question in the chat. She asked us if do you guys find repetition in the daily things you do, and what do you do to keep track of your mental health? I think that's kind of what helps us keep our mental health in check is the communication. It is, and like you said, the running and being able to be outside and enjoy the freshness of the outside. That
Mhm.
that is a mental check. That is a mental you know repair. It helps us feel better. It helps us uh you know enjoy ourselves even
Yeah,
when
but
we can't enjoy ourselves to the same degree as we would normally without the virus being here, if that makes
exactly.
sense. Yeah,
Oh,
so
exactly. Exactly.
yeah, so let's move. I'm going to move on to step 2 here. She says think twice about what you're putting into your mouth and why. While many of us are stressed beyond our limits, overheating can have a temporary calming effect. But temporary is a key word, says Rice Camp. Without managing your eating habits during times of stress, you're more likely to put on unwanted weight. And I think you can tap into that more than I can. I mean, that sounds pretty accurate to me. But what do you say to Rice Camp's claim here, Victoria?
I will say that I believe the word temporary is very relative. um, because there's just some people that put it on
I said
and they never lose
overheating.
it.
I said overheating. I meant to say overeating, by the way.
Okay, I got it. Okay. Jeez, but some people it's not temporary. For some people, they put it on and they never lose it. A healthy body fat percentage for men is 10%. And men, they are gonna burn fat faster than women. Their metabolism is faster than women. Their structure is different from a woman. When you look at a woman, her average body fat considered healthy is about 13%. And that's because we have breasts and we have to make space inside of us to make babies.
Right.
So for something that's completely out of our control, we are already off the curve. of maintaining things that we eat. And it's super important that you pay attention to what and how much you're eating. Hunger and thirst are the two most confused feelings inside. You don't need to eat every 30 minutes. If you just ate breakfast and within the hour you're feeling thirsty, or I'm sorry, you're feeling hungry again, go get a glass of water. Go for a walk with your glass of water. It's 64 ounces of water a day to keep you hydrated and keep your body fully nourished. So
I do.
yes, I do agree with her. You need to watch what you're eating. If you want to eat every like 3 or 4 hours in small portions, I think that's more than manageable as long as
Yeah,
you're drinking in between.
I think I got the water thing down. I've been drinking water in droves since college, and it's weird how college is the thing that made me started doing that. Um, because I mean, you can hate me for saying this, and that's fine, and I understand your hate towards me, but I'm the guy who buys like the water bottle pallets with like 24 water bottles or whatever, and but I drink them all, and I drink them all pretty quickly. And do I recycle? Yes, and that's why I didn't want people to hate me because I know they're going to go after the plastic aspect of it. But
This is why I don't hate
aside from
you.
the plastic, but other than the plastic part of it, I do drink water a lot. And before college, I really didn't. I drank like I drank a Gatorade and juice and stuff. I wasn't a soda guy. Never been a soda guy. Still not a soda guy. But I mean, the amount of water I drink is, I think it's impressive. I think I drink a pretty decent amount of water each day, which I'm proud of. I guess I could say.
It's,
So
it's 70% of your body. Like think of like I'll try. Hopefully, I say it right. Water is to your body as oil is to your car.
okay, I see what you're saying.
You know, it's it's the foundation of absolutely everything. You can work if you're hungry. You're really not going to work if you're dehydrated. Like this is your body's like ultimate resource to
Right.
keep you going.
Yeah,
You know,
water's pretty important.
it
Um,
is.
and to piggyback off that, number three, step number three out of four. We're on it's 3 out of 4, by the way. Is ramp up your fluid intake. Now more than ever, Rice Camp advises drinking plenty of fluids to help keep your body hydrated and to flush out toxins. Some of the best choices are water, green tea with ginger, or turmeric.
Turmeric.
I've never. I'm bad if I just don't know what that is.
I'm not too familiar
Turmeric.
with turmeric either. I used to work at First Watch, and I know that turmeric was in one of their juices, and that's what made the juice so delicious. Um, I'm not too familiar with turmeric. I'm not sure that it makes you want to drink water more or what its essential
Well,
function is. Will say that Pinterest has turned me on to quite a bit of infused waters. That's water where you put a portion of fruit in there and you let it sit for a little while so that the
oh yeah, yeah,
juices absorbed in the water. I think that's a 2-for-1 deal because you're getting the nutrients from the fruit, excuse me, while you are hydrating yourself. But just also be careful that you don't drink too much because fruit is also loaded with sugar. So if
right.
you don't portion that out appropriately, you're now
You,
ingesting too much sugar.
yeah. It says here to boost your immune system, Rice Camp says immune support drinks can be beneficial. Many of these provide vitamins A, C, D, and zinc, which are important to a healthy immune system. So, like, I'm guessing she's saying like the green teas and gingers and turmeric and clear soups and broths, um, as well as like those immune support drinks, like what's an example of that? I don't want to say like airborne because I know that's an immune system thing, but that's I guess you can count that.
What is that? Ensure, I guess, to develop your body
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
yeah. Well, anyway, she suggests drinking
Thank you, Dad.
those and
Thanks,
what was
Dad. I
that?
appreciate you.
Oh, that's my
Uh,
mom. Oh, turmeric it's an orange spice that is an anti-inflammatory as well as boosting your immune system. Yeah, okay, there we go. Turmeric is an orange spice. Interesting. I have to look into that. I've never heard of turmeric. I like that. Maybe I'll try some. But anyway,
Mm,
if you experience a fever, water enhanced with electrolytes will help you recover faster, as well as Pedialyte. So yeah, just drink a lot of fluids when you're here in this quarantine, and if you're sick, fluid. I mean, every time I go to the doctor, they tell me to drink more fluids, so it makes sense. Obviously, the right kind of fluids, not alcoholic fluids like I am drinking maybe currently now. Don't do that. But um, water and the turmeric and other things that will help you stay healthy and well. The last thing on this list, step number 4 that they have is moving your body. Getting plenty of exercise during these shelter in place days is vitally important, no matter what your age. And I'm going to put an asterisk, not an asterisk, I'm going to put that in bold and I'm going to underline it, no matter what your age. I really do think that being active and getting up and walking around and doing something when you're doing, especially now during these quarantine times, unlike me, because I've been sitting at my computer, but I encourage it. I am a pretty active person outside of quarantine. Like I do get out, I go out and I drive places. I go to the beach, I go to the pool. I try to do a lot of being out. That's just like how I am, and I do feel better when I am out, physically, not just you know mentally. I'm gonna give Baldrick a thank you for the follow, from the Twitch. Thank you very much. But anyway, exercise can help boost your physical, mental, and emotional health, and can help reduce stress, which can take a toll on our immune systems. So it kind of ties together, right? Um, Being
everything.
physical helps you emotionally and mentally as well. And you, Victoria, you're like you discussed earlier. You're huge on working out and being active. What do you say to this? Moving your body.
I think she's making a very excellent point. You know, your body is a temple that you need to take care of. You need to, and everything that she's mentioning here, it's a domino effect of the other, and so on. Physical activity is super important right now. Not only I mean, you could potentially meet new people along the way, but
Right.
it's it's really, for some people it's easier said than done. But
Yeah.
overall, I do enjoy being active, and I do enjoy like trying to motivate people to get out there and try to work out a little bit, because it's for yourself more than anything. And just to think like, you know, the a human body is a lot stronger than what we give it credit for. And just to take you for example, where you're sitting in your chair for all these hours, it's probably never really occurred to you like, I could do 100 push-ups. And I guarantee you, if you put aside like the 30 or 40 minutes to just really focus on it, like
Mm-hmm.
really, I am doing 100 push-ups and I will do them in sets of 20. I will do them in sets of 15. you know it's gonna get there. You're gonna get your 100 push-ups in, and I feel like that right there is what also starts initiating the the release of any mental blocks you might be having. Like, let's just say you wanted to practice another instrument during quarantine, and you just didn't feel like you had the ability to do it. Your mental health is just not there to do it. Exercise gives you those endorphins to make you happy, to perhaps maybe turn you in that direction. you
I'm
know
going
you,
to. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I'm going to just stick this in right here and say I am proud to say I have reached my 100 push-ups in sets of 20 as of last month. So, booyah on those. Anyway, keep going.
you hearing this, ladies? He can lift a house. He will pick up the house from you. But you know what? This actually brings me back to what I was saying earlier about the exercise and the physical activity.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's important to get your body to be moving, but as far as like exercise is an action that's performed with an intention in mind, and it's repeated until your desired goal is reached. So that's working out. That's exercise, and these are things that like I sincerely enjoy doing. I like how I feel when I'm doing it afterwards, and I like motivating people to try it out. What she's saying is for you guys to do physical activity. And physical activity is an everyday task that's performed with little to no difficulty. And like really think about that. That's sweeping, going up the stairs, yard work, walking your dogs, like things that just are mindless that you do every day.
Right,
And
and
it's really
Say, keep going.
You know, it's something that like is almost embedded in you. Take
Hmm.
care of yourself.
Yeah, and you like you said, walking the dog. She says, with the weather warming up, now is a great time to get outside for some fresh air. You can take a hike with the kids or a friend, keeping in mind that social distancing needs to be practiced, obviously. But
Away.
keep moving doesn't necessarily mean it has to be strenuous. So, like you said, take a walk to the mailbox or walk the dog. Um, it all is for a good cause. You know, doing small things like that. And if you do want to exercise and get those 100 push-ups in and go the extra mile, literally or figuratively, do it. And like even me, like I try to at least get out and get moving. Like same thing every Tuesday and Sunday. That's my workout day. I try to go above and beyond what I did last week, um, to keep my fit self, or my physical self in check. My mental self's in check through all the social interaction online. My physical self's in check from the working out that I do every week as a part of my routine. You know, so
Keep taking care of yourself, Jesse. Like, please, you have a lot of other options at your hand too right now. Like everybody's at home. If you don't want to engage with your friends, you can go and search up yoga or Pilates classes online. I follow this one lady. Her name is Cassie Ho. She is so inspirational. I've been following her for about 6 or 7 years now, and she has a frame that mimics mine. It's a very petite frame. It's a very narrow frame, and she's just got like this boisterous personality. So I'd like it's somebody that I can associate with. Activities like yoga and Pilates. The overall goal
mhm.
is mental awareness. Okay, it's not about working out. A lot of people, yes, it is a workout. It's a core based workout because the core is your center of gravity. Everything is going to be here in the middle, but the goal of it is for you to relax. You can't possibly expect to perform a pose in yoga like comfortably at all if you're thinking about other things. Oh, this
Right.
pandemic is really ruining my resources. That's not the point. The point is to center yourself and reset. That if you need to go and think about that, that's fine, but you need to give yourself some of that relief to approach it a little differently.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. And hopefully, uh, hopefully people find these strategies helpful in terms of mental health and physical health, because obviously, again, it is hard for some people to deal with the coronavirus or the COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it, and be alone in your home, or maybe not alone, but not be able to go out and do the things that you would normally do. So these are strategies that I think are important. And finding the article was really helpful, even for me, like reading through. Um, it's important, it helps you realize what you need to do or what you need to adjust to make sure that you are in tip top shape. If that, you
I mean,
catch my
think about
code there.
this also kind of ties into like everything we've been talking about these last 4 weeks. A lot of things are going to be different when we go back outside to go and talk to people. So if you're not taking care of your mental health right now or your physical health, you can't expect many positive results to come when we're able to go back out. you know we should 100% be very appreciative with absolutely all this free time. Like, I understand money's tight for people, they have this, that, the other, and the third to worry about, but focus it down to the fundamental thing here, and that's you and your health.
I agree.
I
um
feel like everything there was top great. Everybody should follow that.
Victoria, I don't know if you, before we go to break, which we're gonna go to break in a few minutes here, uh do you want to open up the lines? I can't believe I'm saying that. We can
Ooh.
open up the lines to phone calls. If anyone's interested in making a phone call, we will open up the lines briefly for the next few minutes, as well as we will take voicemails or text messages. It's all open. So, Victoria, if you have anything else, while you're going, I'll collect some phone calls and maybe we can get a caller on the air.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I think that's
This is a really it's an important topic. It sincerely is. Like, I just registered to take my personal training exam. So like I right now I am currently studying to be a personal trainer, and I think what we're
Hmm.
discussing here is very important, and it needs to be, pushed out there. Spread the word of good health, everybody, please. You got time for your heart, tell everybody about it. um and just what I'm learning a lot here is, if we took the time to just do really, really just the most minuscule things, you know, as we age, we're going to age a lot more gracefully. Like as far as women and estrogen goes, like your estrogen pretty much protects us from absolutely everything. Like it protects us from bone disease, it protects us from certain the intestines, the blood vessels, the bones and the lungs. Like it's amazing, and that's estrogen. Like that's something that my body produces. But once I hit menopause, I am now susceptible to a variety of really awful things happening to me.
Yeah.
Osteoporosis, a stroke, high cholesterol, and it's stressful because I'm dedicating my life to keeping my body in a healthy place. And right now, it says, I'm gonna have to work really hard the older I get to keep myself healthy.
I've
As
always
far as like
wondered.
men. Hmm?
I was just gonna say, I always wondered how the people who grow to be like 110 and they're like still able to like jog down the street, like how much effort do you think they put into like actual fitness versus mental well-being? I feel like it's almost the mental well-being that saves them that, or not saves them, but gives them that ability. Like, or they'll be like, "Oh, I'm 115, and the secret to life is a glass of whiskey every day." Like, like, like I've always wondered how that works.
Okay. I feel like it's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into that. Your brain is a muscle, and I took a psychology class, and the professor pretty much expressed it just like that. As long as your brain is stimulated, as long as you want to learn new things, you desire to learn new things, you're giving your mind, your body, and your soul the will to continue on. So
Hmm.
the fact, so if you participate in things like Sudoku or and, uh oh, geez. It was Lumosity,
Oh, there you go.
Unblock Me. These
Yeah,
mental
yeah,
strategies really force you to think, and that's working out your brain,
yeah. Hmm.
as well as like, a healthy diet and exercise, of course, But I overall do agree with you. I do feel that strong mental health is the key to living older.
I think I agree. I think the
You
mental
agree
health,
with that?
I'm not saying physical health obviously is very important as well, but I do think it's your brain, it's your mental stability and your will to be active and be uh alive, literally and mentally alive, is what really pushes people to make it to those high age ranges. I do think
Love
that's
life
I do think that's the truth. Um,
is.
we are going to take a break here. We've reached pretty far into the show, but we will be back in about 5 minutes. You're listening to Ice T and the Hippogriff. And we are back, my friends. Welcome back to Ice T and the Hippogriff. Jesse here, along with my wonderful co-host Victoria, who is shedding her knowledge on um, exercise and all of the fancy stuff that there is. She has been doing an excellent job enlightening us with the physical wellness aspect of this discussion, as well as some of the mental wellness um, of COVID-19. I found the article with the 4 steps or strategies, and Victoria has been sharing her awesome side with her awesome knowledge. Um, but here we are with the second half of this awesome show. Victoria, what do you got for
Jesse.
us?
Um, right now, I got a little bit of just some statistics here. for you all. So just when it comes to health, men and women are not created equal. We
Right.
are not. We couldn't be any more different.
Well, that is
But
science.
for this particular science, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Um, this in this realm of differences, men are more likely to engage in high intensity interval training, and women are more likely to engage in moderate intensity workouts. And that it makes sense. I see a lot of guys in the gym, like they are going at it like a beast, like they have somewhere to be on that machine. um it's I'm not trying to speak bad about my species, but I don't see women like attacking it the way that men are attacking these machines sometimes. And maybe it's just because of how we're burning fat or the type of figure that we're ultimately looking for.
Hmm.
But I just
Can I stick in a completely unresearched opinion? Not opinion. Well, I guess it's an opinion. I'm just gonna say something. um, I feel like that kind of ties into the roots of it all, right? That I feel like that almost ties into the root of humanity, in that men have always been the aggressive, muscle head kind of, testosterone
gonna
fueled
whip my dick out here. Yes.
gender of it all, and women have been more of the, like you said, moderate, but can't like I feel like it goes back to, I don't want to say caveman era, and I don't want to be completely unprofessional in how I say this, but it almost kind of goes back to caveman mentality, right?
Mm.
Men were the foragers who went out and hunted and brought home food, and the women were the caretakers and the of the young, and they bear the children so the cavemen can all procreate. Like, not saying that's how we are. Obviously, there's a bunch of variables in there, but doesn't that kind of like the idea of men going ham at the gym? Doesn't that kind of reach back to that kind of basis,
Yeah, it
if you
does.
will?
It does. I mean, it's like you said, it's science, and there's no disproving science. It's it's science. It's just straight science. Men. Um, that's I just lost my train of thought. um, that comment made me funny. That made me laugh. Um, but yes, it does. It does go back to it does go back to the caveman. And, women are nurturers. We provide for the family. We take care of our family. Men, they're brute. They're strong. They defend the family. And there's a
Man,
difference. There's a solid
man
difference.
hunts food for family. Man
Yes,
work out so he's strong like bull
I like
or
you,
dinosaur,
baby.
I guess.
Yes.
Like, well, it makes sense though. Like, why else are men kind of predestined, not predestined, I guess predestined to develop muscles, to develop a strength, and to essentially, be the alpha in some, I guess, in cases, right? Um, versus like, and I'm not saying women can't be strong. Obviously, women can be very strong. There's probably women that can beat my ass countless times, but in terms of physical science and the purpose of the body for humans, I would say, I would imagine it. That's how it is, right? Uh,
Estrogen and testosterone. Yes.
yeah, like men are just predisposed to being strong because of the way science worked out, I guess.
And just listen to the statistics I've been throwing at you. A healthy man has 10% body fat. A healthy woman has 13% body fat. Men are going to engage in high interval intense training versus women who just want moderate intense workouts. The estrogen in a woman's body, estrogen is responsible for regulating so many things in a woman's body. Like, it's not only just your cycle and making adjustments for when the baby comes. You know, it pretty much just regulates your overall body's behavior.
Hmm.
It protects everything. It protects you from absolutely everything. So, as far as testosterone goes, testosterone really just stimulates the male and the male sex reproductive organ. Estrogen
Right.
is responsible for so many things in the female body. So, yes, I mean, it is science and it goes right back to the very beginning of days. But, to say that there there are definitely women who are capable and definitely for sure out there that are as strong as men. And it's a negative thing in certain ways because that's if you are exercising too much and you deplete your body of all that estrogen, that's when you stop, having a cycle. That's when all these things that estrogen essentially is protecting you from, all these disease and illnesses and things that can penetrate your body, you lose that ability. So, on top of already relying on like your immune system to keep your body healthy, this one, tour de force that like really protects you is being taken away from you. So, it's kind of a double-headed sword when it comes to women in this particular area.
Well, and you can say, I mean, and this kind of is almost an umbrella statement, but too much of something is not necessarily good for you, and whether you're a woman or a male, if you work out too much and you do too much to your body, that can have negative impacts.
Of course.
And I think that's almost, I don't want to say common sense, but it makes sense uh, in cases, so I can agree with that. Well,
Okay.
um, what, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, and if you don't, it's fine. But in terms of wellness during this virus, what do you think would be for a woman? What do you think would be a good idea in terms of staying well and being physically well or mentally well, but that maybe something that's specific to women? I don't know if you know, but like, what do you think you would? What's your opinion on that?
Um, I- I've been spending a lot of time with my mom.
Uh
You
huh.
know, um, I just think, women, that's your first teacher. That's your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I have taught myself, like, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen with her because, she loves to cook. So, I will do that with her, not only to
Mm-hmm.
spend time with her, but, and ask her questions, learn how to cook better. Man, I know how to cook. It's and I think that's something that's really important. I think that a woman, if she does have her mom in her life right now, she should be spending time with her. I think those are it's like I said, it's your best teacher, it's your best resource. If you're questioning yourself or if you're confused about things or how you're feeling or what you should do, who better to look towards than your mother, you know. I don't personally feel that there's any one activity that's gender specific to keep yourself healthy and in check because women play video games, women cook, women work out, women do construction. um it's so I don't believe there's one specific thing that you could be doing as a woman. I mean, moisturize. I'm on a moisturizing regimen now. I moisturize my feet, my face, my whole body like twice a day. Something I definitely was not doing when I was working 40 hours a week. But I mean, I guess if that's the only gender thing I have to offer, moisturize your skin.
Hey, I mean, moisturizing skin is a that's a guy thing too. I mean, to throw this train off the rails. I've been trying to go to get a pedicure. It sounds weird, but I've never had a pedicure, and I feel like I should get one because my feet they're not gross, but they're like they need to be maintained, and I
Okay?
feel like a pedicure would be great
Promise you won't regret it.
for my marching band feet. So maybe one day when this thing is over, I'll finally get to do that pedicure,
Oh, you're gonna love it on your feet. Jesse, what do you think, if any at all? Are there any like male driven things that you should be doing?
um,
That you are doing for now?
let me take about 5 seconds to even think about this. Obviously, I don't have anything written down about this, but I would say, and I think this works for both men and women, but it also is specific to each gender and how they do it. Let me put it that way. So I believe it's important for people to spend time with their gender uh, uh, exclusively at times. So like
Mhm.
girls have their girls' night outs, boys have their bro time, right? And I
Mhm.
honestly think that, and whether it's COVID-19 or not, I honestly think that's important. I think it is important to have moments of time where you can be kind of like a bro and like be around the guys and have your guy moments, if that makes sense. And I think it's also important for girls to have their time and talk girl things and both. And I think that's also, it is a mental thing. It's a mental wellness thing, but also a not physical in terms of fit, but physical in terms of like the how you carry yourself physically. Like if you're with your bunch of guy friends, you can kind of be a little bit more rough and physically even. You know, you can
Yeah.
kind of be more. You can like you can kind of have like that physical interaction and again not sexually. All y'all looking at me in the chat, but you know you don't. I'm not saying punch your friends, but I'm saying like you can rough houses with guys, and like that's not something I would do necessarily, and not because they're girls or women, but I can't see myself roughhousing with like my friends that are women. Like I just can't, because it's that I feel like that's just not how they are to me. So like meanwhile I can like with my friend Jason or Mike or Pablo or whatever, I can kind of like we can pull pranks on each other like that, or we can kind of roughhouse a little bit like physically. And I'm not saying girls can't handle that, but I don't feel comfortable doing it because that's not the relationship I have with them.
I understand.
So I, regardless of that, regardless of the roughhousing thing, I'm just saying like I do think it's important for each gender to have their exclusive time, if that makes sense, apart from the opposite gender. But I also do think it's important for both genders to intermingle. Like I do think it's important for men and women to essentially hang out together. Hang out. Obviously, not. It doesn't have to be romantic or whatever. Like but to just keep each other in
Natural.
check.
Yeah, of
Because I
course.
mean, it's people like you, like Victoria, like you are one of the people I can rely on for information, maybe about women that I should know or maybe should keep better track of, and you can keep me in check with that. You know what I mean? Like, and I know this is, I'm not trying to stray away from COVID-19 and like, but I think this is part of it. Like, I mean, people are secluded in their homes and they are unable to socialize with each other and with the people around. So I feel like it's important to talk about um, the interactions between men and women, even the or the lack of interactions between men and women in this case. So I don't know. That's my long answer to a short question.
Speaking of interactions with men and women, got a new dating app notification this week called Uniform.
Uniform.
And it's
Okay.
yes, it's the dating app where it's for people in the services, the military, EMT, police officer, doctor, uniform.
That's interesting.
For women who like a man in uniform.
That is a very interesting concept that I never thought would ever exist
Hey, I
ever.
mean, it's all out there. It is all out there,
I gotta read this. Danjo draws when a man touches a woman's skin, it's nature, but but men touching men in a good old wrestling fashion, or a good old wrestling fashion, that's where bonds are made of.
Freaking knew it.
I gotta agree,
I
man.
knew it. I'm telling you, all men are just a little
if
bit, and it's
if
fine. I'm not
oh
judging you.
if you're no if you're able to physically if you're able to physically handle each other and not get uncomfortable with it, you've made a best friend or brother. And now I'm just speaking. That's a man thing right there that I think I'm speaking. I don't know if it's the same for women, but if you're able to kind of like, I'm not saying like be sexually physical. Obviously, I'm saying like if you can hold your bro's arm or like even hold their hand in a non affectionate way, but not. I won't even say that it is affectionate, but in a non, you know, awkward way. That's a best friend right there. That's a bro, and it's like a brotherhood, I kind of equate it to like I'm a UCF guy, so UCF football. During the Auburn game 2 years ago in the Peach Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
the four of our players and four of their players, they meet in the middle of the field for the coin toss. And our four guys, they were hand in hand, and I didn't see that as like it's gay, like no, it's like that's love, like they care for each other, they play for each other, and like that's brotherhood, they're comfortable with each other on that level, on that physical level. So that's just yeah, I know that's my, again, that's my long answer to a very short question. If that
Statement.
makes sense.
Oh no, it's unity. Men find unity in certain ways, the way that women find unity in certain things.
Yeah.
So no judgment, Jesse.
But anyway, um, let me read something here. I'm gonna go through this one quick because I know we're running out of time and we've been on for a while. But um, I'm just gonna run through this quick. It's seven ways to stay safe and stay healthy during the quarantine. And again, this is just a lot of this is probably going to be reiterations of what we already talked about. This is from the University of Utah, their health website. Um, and these are the 7 steps that they have. The first step they have is find balance in your mind by setting a timer, which is this one kind of. This I feel like is a tip for specific people. Am I gonna set a timer for myself? Probably not. It says set a timer on your phone or kitchen stove for regular movement breaks. Break up each hour in a way that feels manageable by your list of tasks. 50 minutes of work earns you a 10-minute break. 30 minutes of off ticking off tasks gets you a 5-minute breather. Whatever feels best for you. So it's what they're saying is set an allotment of time of work, and then for every amount of work that you do, you give yourself an amount of a break. I mean, if you have an arduous job, if you're doing something that is time consuming and does take a long time, I could see this being helpful. For me, where I do have office hours every weekday for my students. So I have from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I have office hours, and the time around that is just me developing lessons for the kids. I don't necessarily have to time myself, because even during the office hours, I do have moments where I can get up and get a drink of water or get a snack to help me relax. But I can see where this, if you are really busy and you can't, like, if your work requires you to be attentive for over an hour straight, I can see where this can come in handy, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I'll just throw another statistic. My professor told me once you will only retain 13% of what you hear in about a 50-minute lecture. So,
Yep.
it's I think really truthfully, no matter what your job is, like you need to set aside some time to get up, stretch, take your eyes off of what's going on, because it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're focusing too hard and it's not happening, it's not going to happen if you focus harder. You're probably going to like burst a vessel. Just get up and take a stretch.
Oh yeah,
You know, it
if you're on the verge of self destruction, it's I don't want to say self. I'm saying self destruction, but you know what I mean. If you're overdoing yourself, overstraining your brain or even thoughts or physically, even like during a workout, if you're hurting yourself, obviously stop, take a breather, let your body relax, let your mind relax. Um, and if this helps you, if it helps you to be organized by setting specific times and setting a timer, I think that's actually a healthy thing. I mean, musically, if I were to go into the music realm here for a second, and if I'm practicing, that is something I do. If I'm playing my instrument, my euphonium, and this is back in school when I was practicing in the practice room for hours and hours, I do set a timer. I would say, okay, I'm going to do an hour or let me even before that, I would say I'd do 15 minutes of warm up on the mouthpiece, and maintaining pitch and long tones. And then after 15 minutes, I would do an hour of performing my literature, my music, and then I would have a cool down for 5 minutes at the end. So that is something I do. I have specific time increments of. But in terms of my everyday life right now during quarantine, I do have a routine, like I mentioned before, but it's not like I'm not like shooting myself in the foot or getting mad if I don't, if I'm not out of bed at this millisecond of 9 o'clock. You know what I mean?
I
So,
understand.
but I do agree. I do think that is an important thing, is to find balance. I think that's the key word, is balance. Find where you are comfortable working hard, and then also having enough time to take a breather and de-stress that stress that you're putting on yourself.
Of course.
Step number 2, stretch regularly. All right, Victoria, here you go. Even the Utah experts think you should stretch regularly. Staring at a computer for hours, me, on end tends to tighten up the legs, hips, and upper back. Treat those areas to such. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Victoria, I'm so sorry. Everyone out there, I'm so sorry. I am just blabbing, mumbling. Treat those areas to some much needed stretching. Google is your friend if you need some ideas. Okay, so obviously stretching is important, and I love this because this article actually gives us stretching suggestions. One says low lunges for hip flexors. So I would imagine, is that like when you lean forward and you kind of like go like side to side, or I mean, I'm not a workout person.
A lunge is essentially you're going to take one foot and put
And you
it in front
stick
of
it
the
out,
other.
right? Yeah.
Correct. Your front leg is going to have a bent knee, and your back leg, you're going to want to have your back leg kind of on the ball of your foot, pushing up the ball of your foot.
Yeah, I did those in marching band. So now I know it. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, and then you kind of put your hands on your hips and you kind of dip a little bit, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Making sure you do not let your knees push in front of your ankles.
Right.
You're doing
Yep. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Another suggestion they offer is a doorway stretch for the shoulders. Is that like where you hold the doorway and then you lean forward and it stretches your shoulders a little bit?
correct.
Okay. A cat cow flow for the back.
Ooh, cat cow. I actually do have some notes on cat cow here.
Oh, tell me. I'm interested.
Okay.
Cat cow
So
sounds fun.
cat cow is actually a yoga pose, and it is to improve posture and balance. It strengthens and stretches the spine and back, as well as massages and stimulates in the belly, like kidneys and adrenal glands.
Is that where you like stretch like a cat does? Where you like kind of go on your knees and you put your arms out in front of you, or is that downward dog?
Okay, so downward dog is a little different. What you're talking about when you get on all fours and you have a flat back, that's the starting position for the cat cow pose. When you inhale, you're going to bring your back all the way up like a cat. When a cat is upset or when it's frightened, it picks up its back. And on the exhale, you're going to bring your back all the way down and kind of arch it. And that's when you cow. The best part of that is like when you reach all the way down, you kind of just want to move a little bit, and like when you've reached the full curve of your spine, ooh, you'll know that you mooed.
I'm gonna move.
It's cat cow, baby. It's really good for you.
I
You
almost
know,
want to. Hold on. I'm gonna Google this because I want to. I might demonstrate this for the channel, for the Twitch chat right now. Let me hold on a second. Let's see. Cat. Let's see. Google cat cow pose.
let's see,
Oh.
Captain Supermarket here.
Oh. Wait a minute. So you're on your hands and your knees, and you let your back you let your arch of your back sink, and then you do the opposite where you arch your back like a cat. Shouldn't it be? Oh, I'm gonna do this. All right, chat. All right, I'm gonna move the camera down. See, we're getting interactive here. Hold on. I'm gonna put the camera down, and you're going to watch me do this like a weirdo. So we got. Hopefully it tracks my face. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna do this on camera.
Go, Jesse. He's got this. Jesse. Jesse. Jesse.
Wait, I got it. Hold on. So you can hear me a little bit, right?
I can hear you.
So I'm gonna get in the cow position, and Victoria, you can watch me on the stream if you want to see me do this.
I'm watching.
You see how my back is arched like this? I'm guessing this is like not arched, but it's sunk. This is the cow, right? And then
Yes.
the cat up like that. So cat cow. I think I did
Got
it.
it.
I think the chat should hear me. Victoria, you might not have heard me, but I
Uh, Jesse, you're funny.
so oh, that was interesting. So basically, um I had my back sink down, and I let it stretch that way, and then I arched it up. That's like the gist of it, right?
Yeah, it is the gist of it, but it's all in your breathing.
Victoria, I
In the
can't hear you for some reason.
Oh, Jesse, stop moving around. Jesse, can
Did
you
I
hear
like
me?
break my thing? Wait, hold on. It might have been me. Say something.
Say something.
Okay, I fixed it. I pulled my wire out when I was doing that with my headset on.
I mean, Jesse, you did it right. You did it absolutely right. You just got to focus on your breath. The breathing is what's going to stretch your muscles out for you.
Oh
It's
yeah,
going to get
yeah.
like
I was
this.
doing the speed version of that.
Of course, but yes, stretching. I will say this: for every 15 minutes that you're sitting down, you need to stretch for 30 seconds before you start moving. And that is my Home Depot career advice for you.
Hey, Home Depot was I still go to Home Depot, so I remember when he worked at Home Depot. That was a good time.
I love Home Depot.
Home Depot's it's a good store. I get a lot of stuff from there. All right, let me move on here. I'll go through these stretches real quick. I don't want to spend too much time because we're going to run out of time, and I don't want people to die of boredom. Not that it's boring because I'm having fun, but you know. Downward dog for overall strengthening. Okay, we discussed that a little bit earlier. Lunges for the legs and hamstrings. Okay, so what's the difference between a low lunge and just a regular lunge? Is a low lunge like sinking down more than a regular lunge? Like, aren't lunges where you like step out and then you step together and then you step out again, kind of thing?
It is. I mean, like if you're gonna use it as an exercise, then yes, it's just like that. Like you're obviously not gonna stretch your hamstring as far as possible when you're doing it as a workout. But when
Uh
you're
huh.
just stretching, you want to get the full longevity of the muscle, then yes, that's like a deep lunge is a very deep stretch because now you're using the whole muscle
Uh huh.
to maximize a stretch and then whatever it is you're about to do. Yeah, if you're gonna
Gotcha.
kick the door down, you might want to do a deep lunge.
Hmm. And then I have a 30-second plank for your core.
Very important.
I should probably do planks more. I don't plank at all.
If you're not engaging your core while you work out, you're also not really helping yourself out either. I think planking is really good for your body. For like a little V in that middle, if you really engage the core, that's going to be a good one to
Oh,
try.
I want the V. I used to have the V and I don't have the V anymore.
My name is Victoria.
The V for yeah. And then they have 50 jumping jacks to spike your heart rate.
That is the most excellent point. That is, as long when you're doing any type of physical activity or exercise, as long as your heart rate is up, your body is burning. Your body's burning something. So, the key to working out and the key to being like effective with all of this is to keep your heart rate up, that your body is engaged.
Yeah, well, I need to do more core or plank stuff for my core because I don't do that like at all. I want to get abs for the summer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna make it, but I do want to
Dude,
work on my core more.
I have
Anyway.
so many workouts I could send you. Oof.
Oh yeah, I'll hit you up for those for sure. Um, Step 3 in this guide from Utah from Utah University says the best workspaces encourage productivity and motivation. So basically, treat your every school and workday as you would normally by dedicating a spot for your work desk. Training your mind and body to follow a work and study schedule is an important way to help you stay focused and on track. Okay, so having a place where you know is work and having a place where you know is play kind of keeps you focused on those things, and I could agree with that. I mean, they didn't have practice rooms for no reason, right? Like when I was at school anyway, like I had a practice room so I can practice, and I knew that's where I was doing my work. Meanwhile, if I was out with friends at TGI Fridays, then obviously I'm not going to be practicing my instrument there. And I know that was a very extreme example, but it makes sense to have a schedule and a place to know that's where you're working, and it keeps you focused on that. I do agree with that. I think that's a very important factor.
Concur.
So, number 4, a side effect of the pandemic: anxiety and mental health concerns. And we talked about this a little bit already. Mental health during this thing is at risk. People are again stuck inside. Hopefully for not much longer. But being alone, especially those who are alone, or being with someone who is mentally abusive or dangerous for that person, and being stuck in the home with them, ways that might help you mentally in that regard, mental health wise, is to recognize that anxiety is a natural human response to stress, like a global pandemic. Experiencing anxiety does not mean you are abnormal or weak. So yeah, people get anxious. It's a human quality. It is something that you sometimes cannot avoid. It is normal. And it does not mean you are a weirdo. It does not mean you are a weak person. Everyone goes through anxiety in some form or fashion. Obviously more than others, but knowing that you are not an outlier, I could see that helping you feel a little bit better. And obviously this isn't something that's just easily dismissed either, but anxiety is normal. It is something that people get. It is something that people can help treat and diagnose. But just know that it's not just you. You're not alone. And literally, you're not alone. There's millions and millions of people who suffer from anxiety, whether it is an actual diagnosis or whether it's just a brief anxiety from the things happening around you. And you are not weak for it either. Even the strongest of people can fall to anxiety, and that does not mean you're a weak person. It is a normal human response to the environment around them.
Right.
Second, I'm going to move on here. Second, thank you for doing your part in preventing the spread of COVID-19 by making responsible choices to practice safe and physical distancing. So again, just stay away from people stay physically away, like not obviously not socially. If you're anxious and you need someone to talk to, make a phone call, message somebody on social media, or text them through social media or through texting services and stuff. Obviously still keep your distance, because getting sick and catching this thing will not help your anxiety, obviously. But just practice safe choices when you are choosing to reach out. And make sure you just keep your self-care and self-maintenance at an all-time priority. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel stressed, and I'm reading this from the article, but if you feel stressed and feel overwhelmed, self-care is what you should focus on. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better. Obviously, with reason. If the only thing that's going to make you feel better is to see your best friend who is sick with COVID-19, I don't know if that's the best choice, but maybe figure something out that you can do to compromise that. Call them on a video call, or do a video chat with them over FaceTime or through Zoom or something. And do your best to self-serve you. Um, that way you can feel better and get through it uh, with a good success, with higher success. Um, and I know I'm rushing through these, but we're running out of time, and I don't want to keep everyone here too long. But step 5 they have is helpful ways to manage isolation, fear, and anxiety. Take a moment to sit quietly and notice 5 things that you can see around yourself, and choose 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can feel, and 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So the gist of it saying just sit and notice what's around you. What do you have? Appreciate what you have, and know that what you have is there for a reason. You worked hard for it, or someone is helping you and they've offered it to you to help you feel better. And just that, I guess that's like a pause moment where you can just take a moment and just pause and reflect on what you have and what you can do to better yourself or to self-treat yourself. Another few things to help with fear or isolation or anxiety is to pick up a nearby object and focus on the texture and weight and shape size. So I guess to almost as like a way to unfocus on the negativity around you, pick something up physically and notice it and just think about it instead of the things that are happening around you. As silly as that sounds, and I can see where that could be helpful to help distract you from the negativity around. Just focus on something nearby. Even like I'm gonna be obviously this isn't very important, but this true, like I'm drinking a can of Truly. If I was having an attack or an anxiety, or if I was highly anxious or fearful, maybe just kind of looking at the can and reading through the nutrition and the color, seeing the colors and feeling how smooth it is, and thinking about that, the actual thinking about that might help distract me from the fear and the anxiety that is looming, or trying to get the best of me. I can see where it might help.
Fidget spinner. That's the best example that we have here. The fidget spinner's been around for a very long time. I just want to point out that was
Oh
initially
yeah.
to children with special needs, like
Mm-hmm.
autism and Down syndrome and ADHD. But if you notice, a couple of years ago, it was increasingly popular, and that the fidget spinner, like there you go, fidgeting, like that's a a sign of anxiety here.
Right,
So
right, right.
to kind of like almost like Inception 2 with Leonardo DiCaprio's little spinner, thing that is in real time for you to just like focus on. This is
Mm-hmm.
real. This is happening. This is what I need to do.
Um,
Anxiety, a demon, but it is incredibly treatable. So we cannot let be your best friend right now.
right, right, right. Um, Step 6 that they have on Utah's health wellness article is connecting with others, and again, this is something that we kind of discussed before. Um, Talk to people, make a phone call, and like I said, I made the phone call to my friend Jesus in New Mexico earlier this morning. Um, Text them if you have to, message them on Instagram or social media. Just connect with somebody. They mention FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, House Party, which is a really cool app, by the way, WhatsApp, Netflix watch parties. They help you safely meet up with friends and bring the comfort from outside to your own home without actually physically being there. And I highly support that. I think that if you are someone like me who is pretty extroverted, I do prefer to be out. I do prefer to interact with people, and not be inside like that. It helps, and I've been able to do that. I've been able to play video games with my friends. Um, that has definitely helped me become less anxious, I guess. Um, and last but not least, and I'm gonna wrap this up here, is prioritizing your downtime. And I think that is a problem a lot of people have. And I thank my mom for this. My mom is one person she's a very hard worker. She helped raise me to who I am right now, and she's the one who has always said to finish my work and to do my best on my work, and to always put my responsibilities in front. But she is also the person who has taught me to know when to step back and just give yourself a break, to just know when it's time to just stop, enjoy your time off, enjoy your free time that you have, and make the best of it. That way your mental health is balanced, and we talked about balance earlier. and that way you are able to stay well and fit in that regard. And I think number 7 out of all these steps that we've read is the one that that's the one I would take the most. That's the one I would take the greatest is the downtime and being able to prioritize when you deserve that break and when you deserve that time to reflect and just enjoy yourself and relax. Because I do think it's almost as important, if not more important, than the work itself. So, what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I 100% agree with everything that you're saying. It is important to have work and play. You can't be beating a dead horse all day long about work, or school, or a bad grade, or if you got into a fight with your significant other. Holding on to these things is not going to make anything better. At
Yeah,
least
and
by
that's yeah,
affording yourself an opportunity, you may come up with a different solution for work. You might finally understand why your significant other is mad at you. You might generate a new idea for a new hobby to try the next day. But I do agree with you that, you need to give yourself a downtime and just enjoy it. You've already worked hard enough as it is, and you are here now. Be here now.
um. But anyway, so I think that's about it. I've gone through kind of what I had in my planning. Victoria, is there anything else you want to add in before we get out of here?
Um, if you don't have a partner and that's what you need someone to motivate you to work out or do some physical activity. You guys, my social media. Do the hippogriff. Please find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter at Be a Hippogriff, and I will be more than a hippogriff. I will be your friend. I will be your motivator. I will be your supporter. I will help you take care of yourself.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. With that being said, you can find us every Thursday night at around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on twitch.tv/IceTKirby. That is the channel in which we will do our live broadcasts on until further notice. Be sure to reach out to our actual podcast recordings every Tuesday. We release these episodes that we record at anchor.fm/IceT and the Hippogriff. And it is spelled just like it is on all of our Twitch videos here. And they will disperse our podcast to many, many other platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, blah, 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 all that fancy stuff, and many, many more. My name is, of course, Jesse Harriton, and my Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything that I do on social media is found at IceTKirby, all one word. And that's where you'll find me. Victoria already told you where you could find her. Please, I said it during the break and I'll say it again. Following and sharing and all that fancy stuff is what helps us grow. And if you could do that, it would be amazing. And it would mean the world to us. We really want to grow and we really want to become a podcast and a show that people enjoy listening to. And please shout out to the chat, because I've seen so many repeat listeners in the chat and makes me happy, man. Just to see so many people come out over and over again just to hear us talk about our stuff and hang out with us. And I mean, hey, we have that voicemail now, right? We have that call-in system now. We have the number you can dial, and I won't say it now, but next time we come, we'll open up the lines, we'll get some phone calls in, we'll listen to some voicemails that you might leave, and we'll read out some text messages. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate you being here. And with that said, I will ask Victoria again, and I will ask you every single time, Victoria, do you have a quote of the day for us?
Oh, man. Today's lucky quote is brought to you by Hillary Duff. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Wait, say that one more time?
From a Cinderella story.
What was the quote?
Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Huh. Cinderella story, huh?
Yes, sir.
I feel like I saw that like once, maybe when I was like a child or something. I don't know. But
man, you got plenty of time. Go watch it again.
Yeah, it's a good. That's actually not a bad quote. I feel like they might have gotten it from someone else, but that's okay. Hillary, we'll put that as Hillary Duff for now. That works. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and listening. We really appreciate you being here, and we will see you next time here on Ice-T and the Hippogriff. Take care.